Hello everyone, welcome to Yelan's Guide. I will be sharing with you how to properly build Yelan, which weapons, artifacts, and team comps are best for her, and the team rotation you can do to maximize what she can do for the team. To start, Yelan is a Liyue 5-star bow character. Yelan is one of the best Hydro character in the game as she is a versatile character and can be used in a lot of different teams. Now, let's start with which weapons are best for Yelan. Yelan can use a lot of different weapons, depending on which playstyle you're going for. Let's start with 4-star bow options. For 4-star bows, Favonius Warbow is her best in slot 4-star, as it gives 61.3% energy recharge on its substat, which Yelan needs, and at higher refinements, gives more energy particles on its passive, which can also help your entire team. Other 4-star options would be Sacrificial Bow, which can mimic Yelan's C1, and the Stringless, which gives EM and increases Yelan's skill and burst damage by 48% at higher refinements. For 5-star weapon options, you can use her signature weapon, Aqua Simulacra, which gives 88.2% crit damage on its substat, and further increases Yelan's HP by 16% and her damage by 20% on its passive. Another great 5-star alternative would be Elegy of the End, which gives 55.1% energy recharge on its substat, gives additional 60 elemental mastery to Yelan, and gives the entire team additional 100 elemental mastery and 20% attack. Other 5-star weapon alternative you could use would be Skyward Harp, Polar Star, and Thundering Pulse as a pure stat stick because of their high crit substat. However, their passive doesn't really work well with Yelan. For 3-star weapon options, you can use the Slingshot, which gives 31.2% crit rate on its substat, and the Recurve Bow, which gives 46.9% HP on its substat. All in all, Yelan's top 3 weapons would be Favonius Warbow, Aqua Simulacra, and Elegy of the End. Let's move on to which artifacts are best for Yelan. Yelan's best in slot artifact set is the 4-piece emblem of Severed Fate. Since Yelan's damage mostly comes from her burst, the emblem artifact set is perfect for her as it gives 20% energy recharge at 2-piece, and at 4-piece, it increases Yelan's elemental burst damage by 25% of her energy recharge. You can get up to 75% maximum bonus damage with this. For 2-piece artifact alternatives, you can use a combination of 2-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, 2-piece Noblesse Oblige, which gives 20% damage increase on Yelan's burst, 2-piece Heart of Depth or Nymph Stream, which gives additional 15% hydro damage bonus, and the 2-piece Tenacity of the Millilith or Vurukasha's Glow, which gives 20% additional HP. Now for main stats, you should go for Energy Recharge or HP percent on Sands, Hydro Damage bonus on Goblet, and a Crit Circlet or an HP Circlet depending on which you need more. Crit Rate or Crit Damage Circlet depends on which stat you are currently lacking with Yelan. For substat, you should focus on Energy Recharge and Crit, then HP percent. For HP, you should generally aim to get around 30 to 40k HP on Yelan. For ER, if you're using Yelan as a solo Hydro in your team, you would need at least 200 plus energy recharge for you to be able to burst every rotation. If you're using Favonius Warbow or any other character with a Favonius weapon, or if there's a second Hydro character in the team, you can aim for 160 to 200 energy recharge on her. Now, let's focus on which talents you should prioritize leveling up with Yelan. Since Yelan's main damage output is from her burst, you should focus on leveling her burst first, then her skill. You don't really need to level up her normal attack as it's quite useless unless you have C6 Yelan. First things first, Yelan is already great at C0, and you don't have to feel pressured to pull for her constellations. Her constellations are just an upgrade, but she's perfectly fine at C0. Now, some of her constellations that are worth considering are her C1, C2, and C6. Yelan's C1 gives an additional charge to her skill. This is good for both particle generation and exploration. Her C2 gives Yelan more damage and more hydro application, as it shoots a 4th hit on her burst, which scales off of Yelan's max HP. Yelan's C2 is a great stopping point. Yelan's C3 increases her burst level. Her C4 increases the whole team's HP by 10% after Yelan uses her skill and hits an opponent. Her C5 increases her skill level, and her C6, which makes Yelan's normal attack damage into breakthrough barbs. In simpler terms, it increases Yelan's personal damage by a lot. This is the reason why Yelan's C6 is one of the best constellations in the game. Now that we're done building Yelan, let's now focus on her team comps. If we look at Yelan's 4th Ascension passive talent, she increases the damage of your on-field character by up to 50% when her burst is up. This is one of the reasons why Yelan is such a great support and sub-DPS in a lot of teams. For team comps, you can actually put her in any team comps that needs a Hydro support, or if the on-field character in the team mostly uses their normal attack so they can proc Yelan's burst. Some of Yelan's popular team comps are the Vape team comps and Hyper Bloom team comps, but you can also use her in other team comps such as Freeze team comps and Bloom team comps. Here are a few team comps you can use with her. Now for team rotations, as I said earlier, Yelan can be used in a lot of different teams, and her rotation actually depends on which team she is currently on. Generally, if another character in your team needs more energy particles, you should use Yelan's burst first, and then use her skill before switching to the character you wanted to get the particles. But, if you need the energy particles on Yelan, you should first use her skill, then use her burst. The burst animation allows Yelan to receive the particles generated by her skill. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I will be showing you my C2R1 Yelan damage showcase. I hope you like this character guide. If you do like it, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Have a nice day, and see you on my next video.
Take it easy. Game's up. Fun's over. Busted. Time to shine! Yoo-hoo! Clouds high. The birds call. Wind strike. Wind, hear me. Ha! Here comes the catch.
Coming was for
Target gotcha.
Let my name echo in song.
One with nature.
As one with wind and clouds and Gorhard. The eternal awaits.
Really? I got a new letter from them. Game's up. Fun's over.